to our family, it was very sad for our baby to be sick, but it brought us together and it made us stronger and it made us find feelings we didn't know we had, skills we didn't know we had. And at the end, it's going to sound cliche, but you have to look at the good side of the things, and that was a good side. It made us a happy family after all.
There's a lot of separation right now because someone has to be a caregiver. And I haven't worked in at least 8 months now, and my husband has to work because he's the only one bringing in financial support, and we're struggling with feeling very separated from each other, and trying to learn how to find that balance. And I'll say for myself, it's I've really lost my sense of self because my whole life has stopped to become the primary caregiver.
Being on bed rest for 2 months prior to delivering was really impacted our family greatly because we were separated from each other for those 2 months. And then we realized quickly when Jonah was born that I had to stay home. I had to become the primary caregiver because I'm not the breadwinner. And I love to work. I miss my job. I miss working with patients, but I also love my job at home, being his mom and his nurse and his doctor and his therapist of all types. But I miss that connection that I have with my husband. We actually have a great connection when it comes to the boys and to our sons, but the connection that we have with each other has changed significantly. So we're learning how to remanage our household, and it just takes some practice and some extra help.
What we've tried hard to do, and we're figuring out how to do it every day, is just to let life continue around that baby, and to continue to care for him in the way that he needs, but to not just stall. Because the whole point of PD or dialysis at all is that they can sustain a life of quality, and that's going to mean something different for Barrett than it will mean for our other son Hudson, but it's doable. And so we just want him to know a childhood that is a normal childhood.
It's taught me a lot. I think that it's changed me a lot as a mom. It's changed me a lot as a person. It made me open up my eyes and see what life is really about.
It is hard to know that this situation has impacted the other kids in a hard way too. I mean, they've missed time with us, they've missed time with their family, they've gone through worries, and that's hard.
And then in my family's case, where my husband and I have held back from having any more children because our very first baby is the one that has gone through everything. So that really changes kind of our perspective from, thinking, oh, we want to have a family of maybe 1, 2, 3 kids. And then now it's just at a halt. You're just one kid. We don't know what can happen. We're kind of afraid at the same time. And we just don't want to bring another child into this life until we absolutely feel safe. So it's really kind of held us back a lot. You really learn to live in the moment. Any small thing that a lot of people would, take for granted, doesn't seem like much, is so beautiful. It's amplified because of everything that you're living. You really don't know, and no one likes to say it out loud, but you don't know when your last moment with your baby will be, especially when they're on dialysis and they're still waiting for that kidney. After the kidney, you feel so much safer. You feel like you're in a safe zone now. But before that, God, you cherish just every second.
For my daughter, I think it's impacted her a lot. It's made her, it's made her realize things in life, but also it's kind of scared her because she's been there through times, and I think she understands because she's older, because she's fixing to be 13, so she knows what could happen. So it's kind of scared her a little bit. So she doesn't like hospitals, and she doesn't like to visit when we have to go places, but because she's seen some things that haven't been pleasant. So
I lived in a big family, so we had to stop people from coming around, just to prevent illnesses, from him getting infections and stuff like that. So we had to cut back. We really just quarantined our whole house and didn't really let anybody in, just to keep him safe.
When our son was born, we had a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter, so he was our third child. And it was hard because we had to spend so much time in the hospital with Major. He spent the first 122 days of his life in the hospital. And our girls, we couldn't be in 2 places at once, and so we really relied on family and friends to help either be at the hospital with him or be with the girls. I do think it was hard on the girls, but I think that they've learned how to be resilient and realize that their needs are going to be met, that they are loved by so many people. And that's one thing I did notice at the very beginning, having an infant who was so sick and on dialysis, his siblings, they learn to adjust, and they do better than I think we do as adults. From a marriage standpoint, I really do think this was hard on our marriage at the beginning, having a child with a chronic illness, and other chronic illnesses I've heard can be rough on a marriage also, but it also in the long run I think has made us stronger, where we've been able to pull through the tough times and come out stronger on the other side.
There's a lot of added stress, for a marriage to work. It's a lot of work in itself, and then you add a critically ill child to it. There's just a lot more stress to add to that factor, and so it's a lot more work than what it was before.
Every day is going to be different, every week, every month. Things change on a day-to-day basis, so you never really find a perfect groove that's going to last forever, but it definitely takes some time to figure out what you think normal is supposed to be.
The first year, I think it was weird because we were spending all of our holidays and stuff at the hospital, but all of our elder kids know everybody here. They know they have doctor birthday parties where they play with all the extra doctor stuff. All of our teddy bears have G-tubes. And they don't know anything different. And so I think caring for sick kids is something that came really naturally to our older kids, and they really enjoyed it.
The roles and responsibilities in the house really, really, really change. Having a kid with kidney issues is such a time commitment. And psychologically, you kind of have to switch off the career mode, and you really go into, a more paternal or maternal lifestyle, which is drastically different than where you came from.
For us, we have an older child. He doesn't know any different. So in a weird kind of way, it really doesn't affect him at all because he doesn't know a different way. He doesn't know that having a younger sibling in theory is supposed to be different than the way it is for us. He knows not to yank on Barrett's pieces. That's what we call all of his tubes. We call them pieces, and you don't yank on them. Other than that, he doesn't know that there's a different way. He doesn't know that babies aren't supposed to get meds all the time. He doesn't know that babies don't live with the doctors for 2 and 3 months right after they're born. So he's always been very calm about it, I guess is the right way to put it. Because again, we have our older child, and then we have our dialysis baby, so he hasn't had a different experience. But he is very, very protective.
Over time, though, with different readmits, I'm the one who stays home with Patrick while Christina's here during the hospital. And, he says, I want mommy home, I want my baby brother home. So it does affect them, in the long run. I think in the beginning it doesn't because they don't know any different. But at the time where you do have long admits, that's where I've seen the most impact on Patrick.
Prioritizing that relationship with your wife is worth leaving him for hours at the hospital with the nurses, or is worth doing something that, because you can't be all things at all the time. I think it took us a long time to get there.
It's easy to want to just kind of shut down when things are calm, but making sure you take advantage of those times and say, okay, things are calm, we're going to take a night to ourselves. We're going to, call a babysitter and be a home health nurse. So there's going to be there's going to be 2 different babysitters at our house in a way. And even if it's something silly, we're just literally just going to go eat around the corner and come back. That hour can be huge. And so making sure you take advantage of those calm times has been important for us.
We've, we never ever get to go to a movie, but we had this date night with some friends, and we had to time it around swinging home to give meds. It didn't ruin the date night. Like, we went to dinner and then we swung home and gave meds and then left again, and that's just, but that, so I think what I'm trying to say in that is you might have to change the way you do something, but it doesn't ruin it. Like, we still have family vacations. They aren't on a boat.